So today, 3300 and Climbing is here with our newest artist, Loe Vale, and we're super excited to be here, to be working with him. But before we get everything started, we just want to know, first off, where to find you on social media, as well as a little bit about what you're about and what you represent.
Thank you guys for having me. You guys can find me on all major platforms. Loe Vale, Loe Vale, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, iHeartRadio, social media. Loe is like LoeIslike on Instagram, SoundCloud, YouTube, Facebook, Loe Vale. And I just want to spread a message of positivity, love, and good vibes. You know, just touch the people, touch their conscience. You know, so that's what it's about. I believe that we all have a conscience. Obviously, Christian hip hop will limit me to just a Christian audience. You know, and I feel like I'm not just trying to target them. I'm trying to target the world. I'm trying to target everybody that has ears to hear. You know, and so my message is still clean. My message is still positive. It's still centered in on love, but it's also speaking on real life experiences, on real life struggles, and things that I've been through and I've had to deal with and overcome. You know, so sometimes you got to get a little gritty. You know, and I'm not sure how that will be accepted in a certain subgenre. So I decided to break out that box and just spread my message to everybody. I grew up in Queens, New York, in a dysfunctional home. You know, a broken home actually. Single mom, 3 kids. You know, she was working 2 or 3 jobs to keep us. You know, at one point she had to let us go for a few years. It was actually for 4 years. She sent us away to Colombia so that she could, you know, get on her feet. And so when we came back, you know, she obviously was still doing her thing, trying to make ends meet to help us. You know, and so I grew up really fast. You know, by the age of 10. I was my sister's babysitter, you know, my little sister's babysitter. 12 years old, I was introduced to drugs, you know. By 15, I was already long gone. I come from that background, you know, drug use, broken home, in and out of jail sometimes, you know, the streets. But, you know, eventually I escaped all of that. And it was then when I found my faith and practicing it changed my life. It changed the way I think, and it changed the way my heart works and the way I view life. So they always say that you could take somebody out the hood, but you can't take the hood out of them. You know, so it's one of those things where I feel like I'm an expression of that, a reflection of that, because I'm not this thug, I'm not this gangster, I'm not any of that. You know, I once was that type of person, but I no longer am. You know, I try to be a positive person, a loving husband, loving son, and try to live as positive as I possibly can. But that's still in me, you know, where it's like I'm doing the right thing, just don't mess with me. I had a moment in I want to say I was like 16, 17 maybe, and I remember I was chilling outside my friend's house where I used to live, and I had a moment where I just got up and I just went somewhere to cry. And I started crying out, you know. I didn't know to who, I didn't know to what. I just started crying out saying, I need change, I need help, please. And then life started taking turns for me, you know. I started meeting certain people, positive people, you know, and it just, certain things just started taking place in my life that it just made me view life in a different way, and I started acting different. I started searching for different things, you know. I started meditating, I started praying, I started reading books. You know, I just didn't want to live that certain that way anymore. You know, I felt there was a need for purpose in my life. I felt empty at one point, and I felt like, damn, like I know I was created for more than this life I'm living, and I don't want to keep living this way. So I need to change. I need something. You know, and that's when everything kind of started. You know, man, I literally am an artist in every way, and I'm not saying that in a boastful way. Like I paint, I sketch, I draw, everything. You know, whatever I build. You know, I'm crafty. That's just and I get that from my mom. But again, it was like hearing these artists say things and put that picture in my mind. You know, it was one of those things that I was like, man, that's amazing how they just transcended everything and got in my mind with what they said. They painted an entire picture for me here, and I fell in love with that. You know, and I wanted to start expressing that. So then I eventually, I still do it from time to time. I still like paint every once in a while. I pick up the brush or a pencil and I draw. But I mainly just like I had a moment a few months ago where I was questioning whether or not this music thing is for me, right? And I had one of those flashback moments too when I was like 6. I remember I was 6 years old and I was playing one of my mom's old cassettes, and I was pausing, rewinding, playing, writing the lyrics. Pausing, rewinding, playing, writing the lyrics. And I was writing these songs, and it took me to that moment, and I'm like, damn, I've been passionate about this. Like, this is what I love. You know what I mean? I was expressing it in different ways, because the drawings, the paintings that I do, they always express something. You know, and now it's with lyrics. Now it's with words and songs, you know. So I just fell in love with being able to paint the picture and get to your mind by saying something. You know, I was writing my first rhyme ever. I remember it was like a little piece of paper like this, and it was something really basic, like I want to buy. It was just something real basic, right? Very, very basic rhymes, and I left the piece of paper under my pillow. I left to the park or something. I got back home, and my bed was done, and I'm like, oh snap, you know, I'm worried about who got my thing. And then my brother comes in, and he starts mocking the rhymes. He starts making fun of me, like, oh yeah, and he starts mocking me, and all of a sudden I got discouraged. I'm like, damn, like, I'm not gonna write no more, you know. And I stopped writing till I was like about 17, 18. I remember writing my first rhyme, and it took me about a month. And I went to an open mic contest, and when I did the open mic and I performed, everybody went crazy. Everybody was like, yo, you was the illest one tonight, yo. They just, the reaction of the people was amazing, and it just like filled me up. It got my head like this big, and I was just like, all right, I think I could do this, you know. And I was like 18, so then after that I really started writing, you know. And I just but sometime after that I got sidetracked with everything else, you know, with work, with other ideas, with passions and stuff. And so I started boxing, and I'm boxing for like 5 years. I started thinking about going pro. At the same time I'm training people. Then I'm in school for hair, and then I'm working also as a barber. People are telling me to become a tattoo artist because I'm artistic. And so and all of a sudden I'm doing everything, and I feel music just getting less and less and further away from me. And then one day I woke up, I'm like, yo, like, I'm doing all of this stuff, but I'm not great at none of them. I'm good at every single one of those things, but I'm not great at one. And that's when I was like, I gotta focus on one, and like have like a laser focus and be great at that one thing, whether it's gonna be boxing, whether it's gonna be hair, tattooing, being a trainer, whatever. And I just like decided, like, I love music more than any of those things. So I just decided I'm just gonna focus completely on music. You know, ever since that I just been producing, creating, and being productive with my passion. Musically, my biggest influences, man, I listen to a lot of music. Cliche, everything. I listen to everything. I really do.
Okay.
You know, but obviously hip hop is my main genre. I love hip hop. My biggest inspiration, like I said, the great late Big Pun. You know, he passed away. Sunday was his 20-year anniversary. You know, for his debut album, which went platinum. He was the first Latino artist, hip hop artist, to go platinum. You know, so shout outs to Pun. I listen to him a lot. I listen to a lot of Nas, a lot of Rakim, Biggie, a lot of the old school New York artists. Today I listen to a lot of J. Cole, Joyner Lucas. Who else? I listen to a lot of Ed Sheeran. I do. I love Ed Sheeran. 3 Doors Down. I love the Eagles, believe it or not.
Yeah, me too.
Believe it or not, I listen to Selection Radio. You know, a lot of neo soul classic sounds. You know, so I'm inspired by everything. You know, I'm inspired by sounds, by music. I listen to a lot of Curtis Mayfield. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Curtis Mayfield. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of the old school, back in the days, back 60s, 70s, you know, a lot of jazz, blues. I really do listen to that stuff. So I'm inspired by all music. You know, if it's good music, I listen to it.
All right, so thank you very much, Lo, for being with us today.
Thank you guys for having me.
You're welcome. Is there anything that you would like to say, any last words, any messages that you want to leave with the people?
I want to thank everybody that's working with 3300 and climbing. I appreciate all you guys' hard work. And I want to say to everybody out there that's an aspiring artist, you know, to stay focused, stay driven, and overall stay real. You know, hip-hop is a culture, and you want to influence the culture. You don't want to be influenced by it. You know, so make sure that you guys stay authentic and original always.